Before we begin the video, I would like to give a big thank you to those who show their support. Golden Pants, Michael Foster, Findel, Miles Harris, Jim Kerrigan, Ludicrous Life, Noah Barnhart, and Alexis. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you who wish to pay tribute as well, feel free to click the link below in the description to find out more. I'll see you there.
You know, there was several shows on when I was a kid that made me not trust anybody almost. Rescue 911 was one of them. It had several things in it that were, it was live 911 call reenactments. And it was some scary stuff because there was one, it was these two kids. They were in the house alone and someone was trying to break into the house. They called the police. And lo and behold, the police they said the police tell them, they had a cordless phone, so they took them. They said, okay, what I want you to do is actually, I want you to hide in the house, and I want you to stay on the line with me, but don't make any noise, okay? And they did, and the kid, and you heard the whole phone call happen. You heard the guy, like, outside of the door walking by.
Oh, yeah.
Yelling stuff and everything. And then the police show up, and then you hear, "Police, put your hands on your head right now. Put your hands on your head. Put your hands..." Pow, pow, pow. And turns out the guy was a very mentally deranged person who had escaped from a prison who was trying to go back to his childhood home.
Oh.
And yeah, it's just
He was
armed with a knife. So
not good.
No, not good. But Rescue 911 was one of them. The other one that really stuck with me was Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
Hosted by Robert Stack, aka that one dude from the Airplane movie who he was a colonel or something, and he did like some of the most ridiculous stuff because they do the whole, like, they take off the glasses when they're trying to talk serious. He's like, "All right, now let's face facts." Takes off a pair of sunglasses. He has another pair on underneath it. He's like, "All right, let's face facts." And then right when he gets serious again, he takes the second pair off. Kramer was his name. And he's like, when Kramer hears about this, the shit's going to hit the fan. And someone literally throws a turd at a fan, and it gets ground up.
Yeah. Well, this guy, didn't his son get abducted?
I think so.
Something like that?
I think so.
But yeah, this is one of those shows. Then there was like all the Lifetime shit.
Yeah.
All the Lifetime channel, just like tragedies that could happen. Like,
yeah,
everybody's mom and grandma was constantly watching Nancy Grace.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
yeah,
the 90s were a nightmare. If you just like had ears that worked and you were walking past a television, there was plenty of shit on there to scare you.
All of a sudden you were just walking by, you had your Pop-Tarts, you were going upstairs, all of a sudden you hear on TV, you hear a man was murdered last night, and then all of a sudden you're just like, "Do what?"
Nope.
You're like, "Do what?"
I'm watching Looney Tunes.
I'm watching, yeah. It's like, I'm going to go upstairs and watch my Tiny Toons.
Yeah. I do not want any part of this.
No, I don't either. But Watch Mojo did a top 10 Unsolved Mysteries episodes that will keep you up at night.
Oh my God.
And we figured, hey, since it's nearing the end of October and All Hallows Eve or Devil's Night or whatever you want to call it is right upon us, we figured we'd give this a shot and we'd see if we remember any of these.
Man,
I watched a lot of this.
I did too.
With my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. And the important thing to remember is this can literally happen anywhere.
Oh, this shit's real.
Yeah.
This wasn't some made-up Goosebumps show.
No, this isn't that
scary shit. Real life shit.
No Twilight Zone bullshit.
No.
This is real. This is
as much as we would like to believe that it was fake.
Well,
it's not.
The truth is, I actually looked up some of these stories later on when I first got access to the internet, and there was one that I was actually really scared about because it was this guy who escaped from custody from police custody in I think it was Atlanta, Georgia, and he was last spotted in I think it was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm just like, oh god, that's pretty close to here. That's pretty close to here. I don't. Yeah. It worried me when I was a kid, and then I found out later on that he actually died in a house fire when it was a flop house that he was staying in, caught fire and burned down, and they identified his body.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, holy hell. Okay.
He's gone.
He gone. Well, by the time I researched and everything, I wasn't as worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still bothered me in the back of my mind, and yeah, it's just one of those things that, when you're a kid, your imagination runs wild, and you imagine all the bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's terrifying.
That's the worst part of it. The stuff that they don't show you in movies or stuff like this, where you're left with a cliffhanger and your mind can run wild. As a kid, you have the ability to imagine your own world, so. Well,
you see, there were mysteries like that, and then there were other mysteries that had sort of like a other world feel, or an ethereal feel, or an alien feel. Because there was one, this guy was adamant. He's like, I want to take a trip on this plane, and I want to, I just want to, just see the world and all, get a good view of the place and everything. And the guy had no prior history of depression, no prior history of anything. At I think it was 10,000 feet. They were coasting at 10,000 feet. He just opens up the side of the plane, just jumps out. Just like that. And he had he was an only child. Both of his parents were still alive. He was married, had 2 kids, and
just dipped.
He just dipped out, and nobody knows why. And no one ever will, because the only person who could tell us is, the guy who became a grease spot on the ground in the middle of a field. And that's terrifying stuff when you think about it, and you try and figure out why people would do such things. And then now I'm 31 and I'm just like, damn, like, the world is still damn crazy. The world is still plenty freaking crazy enough.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
But anyway, we have this video queued up here by Watch Mojo. Let's see what happens. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
2 teenage boys lay motionless in the path of an onrushing train.
Hi, Robert
Their parents
Stack.
believe they were murdered. Join me. You may be able to help solve a mystery.
That theme song still haunts our dreams. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Unsolved Mysteries episodes that will keep you up at night. For this list, we're ranking the scariest, most memorable, or otherwise disturbing episodes of Unsolved Mysteries that gave us the creeps. We'll be including episodes from all the
that hair, dude.
Yeah, the mullet.
First run, hosted by Robert Stack, to the various incarnations Unsolved Mysteries has enjoyed over the years.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Oh.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out Sound Mojo's latest artist, Cultural Vultures. Find the link in the description below.
Really?
They're trying everything they can.
What are they doing?
They're marketing, dude. They're marketing themselves and their various artists. Oh, well.
Well,
more power to them, I guess.
Now
Number
that song
10,
has vanished.
Lizzie Borden House. The tried and true
Oh,
murder mystery
yeah.
always makes
Lizzie
me
Borden.
Yeah,
I've heard about
when it
this
comes
one.
to diehard fans of
Me
Unsolved
too.
Mysteries. And what better true crime tale than the infamous case of Lizzie Borden?
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. So what she had done, she gave her mother 41.
This episode not only detailed facts about the horrible double murder from New England, but also goes into the present-day history of the Fall River home that Lizzie shared alongside her father, stepmother, and live-in maid.
They claim that Lizzie, Abby, and Andrew still walk these halls and haunt these rooms. Chained forever to this place by the horrific events of over a century ago.
The house may be a popular bed and breakfast for the brave and the bold, but there are also plenty of late-night ghost stories that keep us awake, wondering whether or not Lizzie still prowls the hallways, axe steadily in hand.
And after a long day of sightseeing, you can drift off to sleep in the same bedroom where Abby Borden's pummeled body was discovered lifeless on the floor.
No, dude.
Well, We have a intruder. Oh, he's making a pit stop. So we're gonna continue, and whenever he gets back,
For
we'll
9, the Tatum House. Okay, so it isn't as if Unsolved Mysteries needed an excuse to be creepy, but this Halloween episode delivered the supernatural goods with a host of frightening tales.
At first, I thought it was my husband. And I went into the bedroom, and there my husband was in the bed.
The Tatum House segment dealt with poltergeist activity in a home owned by a retired married couple who reported continued unexplained noises in the house. The reenactments forego cheesy theatrics and overacting, and instead describe the Tatum's experiences with a basic, matter-of-fact delivery that makes it all the more real.
I knew very well that something was happening because Kay is very level-headed, and she was truly frightened.
As a result, we can identify much more with how the couple must have felt, particularly
Well-
Jim Tatum, who becomes increasingly upset as he described what happened to the camera.
I told Kay then, I says, no more bell. I'm not going to answer that bell anymore. And that bell has not rung since.
I've never seen him like that before.
Number 8, Spirits at the
Damn.
Comedy Store.
According to many employees, past and present, the Comedy Store's hallowed halls are haunted.
Sometimes buildings have personalities all their own. Case in point, California's classic stand-up venue, the Comedy Store.
This is
which
the one
possesses
Joe
a
Rogan
history
talks
dating
about all
way
the
back
time.
to the
Yep.
1940s and 50s.
Damn, I didn't know it
the
was
Comedy
haunted.
Store was known as Ciro's during these days, and was a
Well,
hub
yeah.
for criminal activity for the local mobsters.
yeah,
Oh,
Johnny
shit.
Some
Salpanano.
people claim to have witnessed paranormal activity and other mysterious occurrences, such as inanimate objects being moved around by an unknown force. Given the fact that so much comedy seems to come from pain, we're not entirely ruling out the possibility that the Comedy Store walls have some sort of bad juju lurking deep inside.
Whatever was down there in that basement, I just don't like it.
Number 7, the Allagash abductions.
And I remember thinking that we're not going to outrun this thing. There's just no way. It was coming too quickly.
Okay, we admit it. Sometimes the recreations on Unsolved Mysteries and other similar shows are more, well, humorous than frightening. Thankfully, this is not the case with our next entry, a harrowing tale of an alleged contact with the extraterrestrial. The Allagash abductions doesn't play it light or for laughs, but instead presents the 4 subjects as men who definitely seem to be shaken by a collective experience.
All 4 said they were taken aboard the craft. The aliens forced them to strip naked and seemed to be conducting medical examinations.
As a result, we can put ourselves in their shoes and imagine how we might feel if we felt we were abducted by visitors from outer space. It's here that Unsolved Mysteries has always shined, and an example of why this episode continues to give us the creeps.
They're right there. Their face is right in my face. I don't know why. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what they want.
Number 6, Prison Mystery. Speaking of reenactments, the updated version of Unsolved Mysteries, hosted by Dennis Farina, featured increased production values when it came to staging these sequences. As a result, this episode from the iteration's 2nd season has aged pretty well, all things considered. The murder mystery, which serves as the centerpiece to this episode, deals with Judge James Michael Frankie, who was hired by the Oregon State prison system to try and increase inmate capacity.
Oh, I
Michael
heard
knew
about
he was
this.
juggling political dynamite and that it could blow up in his face at any
Yeah,
moment.
can you pause it for a
The
minute?
reenact-
So pretty much this guy was brought in to like clean up Oregon's prison system because they had found, they were taking prison inmates and letting them have weekend passes for doing crooked things for people in power and like prostituting out the women, and just like had this huge prison riot break out at one point where the prisoners took control of the damn prison and killed a bunch of people. And you could imagine how out of control that get. And then they bring this dude in and he's going out to his car, gets stabbed by this dude a bunch of times, tries to make it back indoor, and this is the guy that is the main guy in this building.
Yeah.
And he like busts through one of the windows trying to get help and dies. And they pin his murder on like a local drug dealer who thought he was robbing somebody at a hospital. It's a really weird situation. Like, there's a bunch of people that wanted this guy dead, and he ends up dead. And they try to pin it on a drug dealer who claimed to his friends that he had robbed a guy over pocket change.
Damn.
But they never got him to confess that he killed this guy. He just said to his friends that he had attacked somebody somewhere. The cops got rumor of it and were like, let's close this case. That's him,
Yeah, damn, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, all that, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, now, keep in mind, this is just a guy who was like trying to bring to light secrets that were in the state of Oregon.
Yeah, he was about to bust a bunch of people out.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And Epstein had dirt on literally almost every single person in power.
Seems like, I mean, even Bill Gates, it seems like Elon Musk, but like a bunch of scientists, like too, as well,
a bunch of NASA scientists, a bunch of, world leaders,
Bill
political
Clinton,
leaders.
Trump, Chris Tucker even somehow was on the Lolita Express airplane, and all that shit. I mean, that's just a whole nother crazy conversation. But this dude right here for sure was about to bust some people out and got taken out. That's what happened.
All right, so let's. Oh God, let's go. Let's keep going with this.
Reenactments do a great job of stressing how Frankie was murdered outside of his office in an apparent robbery gone wrong, while also lending credence to the theories that he might have been the victim of an inside hit by corrupt government officials. Either way, it's truly chilling stuff.
Some believe that Michael was the victim of a premeditated murder, and that it was carried out by several men and possibly instigated by high-ranking officials.
Oh, he was huge
who
too,
were
by
afraid
the
that they
way.
would be named
He was
in
like
his
a really
investigation.
big,
Number 5.
athletic guy,
Resurrection Mary.
The unwitting cab driver had just met Chicago's most famous ghost, Resurrection Mary.
There's a tinge of sadness to the next entry on our list, The Tale of Resurrection Mary. It's a ghost story about a young life taken too soon, and the people who swear they've seen her spirit prowling the streets near Resurrection Cemetery in Illinois.
Richard Crowe learned the ghost was believed to be the restless spirit of a young woman named Mary Bregovi. Mary had been killed in a traffic accident one Saturday night in 1934.
Mary Bregovi was her name, and she was a girl who's said to have died in a car accident during the mid-1930s. Multiple folks claim to have encountered her over the years, some of whom have even attempted to
car
give her
accident in the
rides, only
30s.
for her to
How do you
disappear.
die going 12
The
miles an
episode
hour?
itself possesses a
Well,
green
no,
light.
dude. There was actually a lot of cars that were going in like the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Oh, okay.
Keep in mind, dude, this is the era of the
Hot
start of
rods
bootlegging
and stuff. Like they
Yeah.
were souping up the cars to get
Old-
away from the police.
Yeah, ultra like.
I forgot about
Chicago
that.
was a hotbed for that shit too, because you had Jerome LeBanner, you had Al Capone, you had you had a bunch of bad dudes.
That was
sending
my
stuff down
stupid
here.
talking.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay.
And captures well the tragedy of Mary's story. This is perhaps in part why the story of Resurrection Mary has survived to this day.
In any case, should you find yourself driving in the city late one night and you spot a wistful young woman in a flowing gown, you might think twice about offering her a ride.
Number 4, the Circleville Letters.
I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious.
The word chilling doesn't even begin to describe what happened to the residents of
Gillespie.
Circleville, Ohio during the late 1970s. Small-town gossip turned deadly when residents of this otherwise unassuming small town began receiving threatening letters about their personal lives, increasing exponentially to the point where the entire community was turned upside down with paranoia,
Wow.
fear, and anger.
His gun had fired one shot, and there was never any explanation for when or how and whom that gun could have been fired.
The reenactments do a great job of presenting how tense and on edge the whole affair made the community, and the voiceover of the Circleville writer is delivered in an ultra creepy monotone.
On closer examination, Mary realized that it was a crude booby trap designed to fire the gun at her.
Finally, it's revealed that even the crew behind Unsolved Mysteries wasn't safe from being harassed, as they received a threatening postcard prior to airing the episode.
The card read, "Forget Circleville, Ohio. Do nothing to hurt Sheriff Radcliffe. If you come to Ohio, you El Sickos will pay. The Circleville Writer."
Number 3, Friends to the End.
Damn,
Suddenly
that's
Sawyer
interesting.
saw something in his path. He couldn't tell what it was. As his train drew closer, he made the horrifying discovery that two boys were lying motionless across the railroad tracks.
Not every unsolved mystery can be resolved during the lifetime of a family member, friend, or in this case, a dedicated prosecutor. Richard Garrett was determined to uncover what happened to Kevin Ives and Don Henry, two popular teenagers who were tragically run over by a train under mysterious circumstances. It took multiple autopsies and the testimony from witnesses as bizarre as former professional wrestler Billy Jack Haynes to discover that the boys were murdered and brought to the tracks, not accidentally run over while under the influence of marijuana.
This doctor concluded that together, the boys had smoked not 20, but between 1 and 3 marijuana cigarettes. He also found evidence to indicate that one boy was already dead and one unconscious when the train hit them.
The episode detailing their demise is a somber and sad affair, a story that haunts us almost as much as it seemed to haunt Garrett, who died in 2018 without receiving an answer to his investigation.
Hundreds of times I've been out there day and night, just trying to get it in my mind of what could have happened or what did happen.
Number 2, scared to death. There's harassment, and then there's what reportedly happened to Cindy James. The nurse claimed to be the victim of threatening phone calls, letters, and behavior for over 7 years. So much so, she told friends that she feared she was going to be, quote, scared to death.
I took a look at her and I thought she was dead. There was a note that was pinned with a paring knife through her hand.
Still, James's reluctance to reveal specific details about the case has raised suspicion about what exactly happened leading up to her death in 1989.
When surveillance was on her house, never any event would happen. As soon as surveillance was taken off,
that man looks like
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Another instant that happened.
The Unsolved Mysteries take on her tail raises more questions.
Of course, then you get another instant that happened.
He looks like Beetlejuice and sounds like
Beetlejuice before he died.
Yeah. So kind of, yeah. When he tried to be serious, he's like, "Oh, well, I attended Juilliard. I went to Harvard Business School, and I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty damn good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it." Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The Unsolved Mysteries take on her tail raises more questions than answers about how she was bound, hand and foot, with a lethal dose of morphine found in her system.
There is no way that she could have been able, after ingesting that amount of drugs, to tie herself up.
Yet it's
Try
the
to tie
evidence
your
and
shoes.
mystery behind the death of Cindy James that continues to haunt our dreams every time we rewatch the episode. Honestly, for me, literally any episode of the show could keep me up at night as long as the theme music played.
Yeah.
That's a good mystery, actually.
Yeah.
Why is the Unsolved Mysteries theme song so creepy? Okay, well, before we really
It's
scare
creepy
you
as hell.
sleepless with our number 1 pick, let's check out some spooky honorable mentions.
They decided to take the videotape home and to watch it.
And they see this. Yeah.
This is the actual
I remember
video.
that. This was on Cops. This was on Rescue 911. This was on so many mystery themed TV shows way back in the day.
What is it?
It's a videotape that someone found on the side of the road, and turns out on it was the footage of someone committing arson and burning a house down, and in the background saying it's like, look at the fire burn. Your house is next.
Damn.
Just laughing maniacally, and eventually I think they found out who did it. But Jesus,
What a
scared the
trip.
shit. Yeah.
The family turned it over to the police, who are convinced that the person holding the camera also set the fire. Again, the withdrawals were unsuccessful. But this time, a hidden camera took pictures and showed a strange man standing over Matt's right shoulder.
And the voice said, "Come here," and it just kept on saying, "Come here, come here." And I focused onto the garage door, and I seen a glow.
15-year-old Martha Moxley of Greenwich, Connecticut disappeared. For 12 hours, her family was in a panic. The entire neighborhood spread out in search of the missing teenager. The next day, another 15-year-old girl took a shortcut through Martha's yard and made a shocking discovery. That day, An airship on its regular patrol made a spectacular descent and crashed to Earth with no one on board. Incredibly, its two-man crew had vanished, and no trace of them was ever found.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings.
They got the tutorial and everything.
Yep.
Number 1, Shane, Sally, and Satan.
The forces of nature.
I'm sorry, I know this is their number 1, but that sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah, it does.
Shane, Sally, and Satan. Shane is a construction worker who never has time off. Sally is his girlfriend who has mounting frustrations about their relationship. And Satan, he's their roommate.
Go ahead and use the last bit of milk for your coffee.
Thanks, Satan. All of a sudden, Shane comes home and Sally's sitting there with she turns on the light and she's in the recliner and she's like, "We were out of milk this morning."
Well, I had nothing to do with that.
I know, Satan. I trust you. But you, Shane. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
It washed away all forensic clues, but detectives were able to determine that both victims had been killed by shotgun blasts.
Satanic panic refers to a period during the 1980s where moral outrage over the occult, heavy metal, and Dungeons and Dragons spilled over into accusations of satanic ritual abuse.
Dungeons and Dragons is not satanic.
But then people actually started doing crazy shit like that out of rebellion.
They did express fears that they might be she and her boyfriend might be in some danger because
well, by God,
it's a very secretive type group, and they knew
they're very secretive.
This is like the dude from Reno 911. It even sounds like him. I wonder.
He's got a mustache.
Yeah, it looks like.
This is if he became a cop.
Yeah. Wow.
The one guy who married Weichert.
Well, did the one with short shorts not have a mustache?
Oh, Thomas Lennon.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about like the serial killer dude.
No.
That Weichert was involved with.
Oh no.
Deputy Weichert was involved with the guy, and they very slowly realized they're like, yeah, they just sent us a drawing of the killer, and this is confirmed by like 5 sources. Look familiar? And then Weichert's just like, oh, he's handsome. And then they arrest him, and then the season goes along, and they keep going back to the prison, and he's in he sort of sounds and acts like Kip from fucking Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, hello there. I just really like killing people. It's just how I am. Where's Weichert? I really want to speak with her. But this guy, it reminds me of him, except he had a mustache. But yeah, I know what you're saying. He does look like Dangle.
You realized that they were in some danger.
Although today satanic panic is largely seen as a reaction to Christian conservatism, misinformation, and paranoia, those involved at the time seem to be searching for something to blame for this tragic loss.
Authorities believe that Shane Stewart and Sally McNally were murdered by their friends as a direct result of their cult activities.
A person of interest in the murders didn't emerge until 2017, when a Texas sheriff's office named John Gilbreth as some...
Okay, I can't help it. I'm sorry, but that looks like Haley Joel Osment in drag.
Yes.
I see dead people.
Absolutely does.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Like, what the fuck? They just got a bunch of lookalikes for this show.
I'm sorry.
But really, though,
I shouldn't be laughing at this.
Damn. Anyway.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I just couldn't help it.
Didn't emerge until 2017, when a Texas sheriff's office named John Gilbreth as someone who possessed, quote, biological material associated with the case. Sometimes reality is much scarier than anything associated with imagination or the devil. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. You know, I was thinking like the writer guy, the guy that was writing all those creepy ass messages and had the booby trap gun box thing.
Yeah.
What if he was messing with somebody and they were illiterate? And they just like had no idea, and he was like getting frustrated, scribbling out stuff. I'm gonna get them this time. This one's really creepy, and they're just like, I'm so embarrassed right now. I have no idea how to read this.
Yeah. It's like that one scene from Asimov. He's like, oh, I can't read.
Yeah. That'd be like the bane of that guy's existence.
All of a sudden, the guy would just come out, like after reading the message, the guy who sent the message would just like be peering over, being like, I wonder if he's not going to come out of his house. Guy comes out of his house, whistling.
Yeah, be like, I can't read this, but I'm sure glad somebody cares.
And then the guy, meanwhile, the killer's just like looking on, just like, why is he not afraid? And he yells it so loud, the guy walking down the street hears it. He's like, what was that? Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Good Lord.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's...
Unsolved mysteries, dude.
Ain't that a kick in the head?
Thanks for suggesting that video. That was a good one.
That was. I like that. I mean, it brings back memories of my childhood, man.
Unfortunately. We had some scary shows back then, man. There was a reason why you just like didn't want to watch grown-up shows back then. It's just like
it's because they had a harder edge.
Brutal,
to them. Yeah. And now it seems the norm for kids to experience.
Oh yeah.
Because now you've got video games like Grandma, which is readily available to everyone. And it's pretty much a zombified grandma coming after you, and her like you have to escape her house, and it's disturbing, but at the same time it's fake.
Right.
Whereas stuff like this, like the more realistic stuff in this show, can send like a cold chill down your spine.
For some reason, I didn't remember like all the UFO and poltergeist stuff. Like
I remembered some of that.
To me, it was like missing persons and people that got murdered and shit that I remember.
Well, yeah. I mean,
from this show,
for me, that's my main thing from it too. That's my main memory from it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got other stuff to do, but thank you all very much for recommending this video. And if y'all want to see more from us, feel free to click the subscribe button, ring that bell to stay notified. And if you want to see more from Watch Mojo, there's a link to the original video down below in the description. Feel free to check that out. And I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Chad.
We will see you in the next one. Peace out.